Hey everybody, I was not planning on streaming until later tonight because we do have the David Pakman Show chess tournament coming up later. In fact, as you could maybe tell, I was biking, in fact, and I was wearing a mask and gloves and a hazmat suit. I was wearing everything. It was a perfect bike ride, in fact, I would say, given the situation. But the White House very abruptly scheduled a Trump press conference to take place in the Rose Garden. Oh, I'm sitting a little high. I'm gonna have to adjust my shot. That's interesting. I'll do that in a bit. Or maybe I'll just lower my chair. Let's see. There we go. A little bit lower. There, perfect. So I am still planning on streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, which is how long from now is that? That is 3 hours and 16 minutes because we do have the David Pakman Show chess tournament. You can subscribe or register for free at davidpakman.com/chess. But I am going to stream this because I don't know what's up. I mean, if I had to guess, it seems to me that, listen, a lot of things are falling apart right now for Donald Trump. You've got the Republican convention in Florida is very much in question. A bunch of prominent Republicans saying they're not going. It's not safe to go. Florida is one of the worst places, not just in the United States, but one of the worst places in the world to be right now. Oh, let me mute the chess tab because people are trying to challenge me right now, which we're not going to do. Just register for the tournament. You can play against me tonight if that's your thing. You've got, the Republican National Convention was going to be in North Carolina. North Carolina said, if you do it here, you're going to have to reduce capacity. So they moved it to Florida. Florida is the epicenter of the outbreak, along with Arizona right now with their growth rates. So a bunch of Republicans are saying, I'm not going to go. So Trump is now in this position where if he ends up canceling it, he looks weak. If he ends up doing it, but it's a coronavirus party, that looks bad. And the other risk is he does it and people don't go because listen, you can get a few thousand people in a room. You could say you're going to be torturing people and you'd have a few thousand Trump sycophants show up, those sick people. But, maybe you can't really fill the venue size that Donald Trump is looking for. And the turnout could also be a problem for Donald Trump. So that's going on. Trump is retweeting the conspiratorial ideas of former game show host Chuck Woolery while saying Fauci is the guy that can't be trusted. By the way, we've got a hype train going on Twitch. I just saw. That's beautiful, beautiful thing. Trump yesterday was asked about testing by our friend Weijia Jiang from CBS News. She's a follower of me. And Trump not only looked weird, he sort of muttered something about Obama and Biden. I mean, just listen to this.
President Trump, you've said many times that the number of...
By the way, nasty question incoming. Get the kids out of the room.
...coronavirus cases is going up because testing is increasing.
That's right.
Do you acknowledge that it's going up for other reasons, too? For example, that it's actually spreading? And what are you going to do to stop the spread?
Right.
Well, you know that we have one of the lowest mortality rates anywhere.
So first of all, we are ninth highest. I'll just fact check in real time. If you go to, let's see here. If you rank countries by, wait, where'd the table go? Here it is. If you rank by deaths per population, you will very quickly notice that out of 200 countries and territories, the United States is ninth highest. Okay. So when Trump says lowest mortality, it's never clear whether he means case fatality rate or whatever. When Trump says we have a low mortality rate, he may be referring relative to testing. But the point is, what portion of the population is dying? We are ninth highest, ninth highest. OK, let's continue.
If Biden and Obama stopped their testing.
Biden and Obama stopped their testing. Is he talking about H1N1? Is he talking about Ebola, where there were 4 cases and 2 deaths? Like, what? How is that even an answer?
Just stopped it. You probably know that. I'm sure you don't want to report it. But they stopped testing. Right in the middle, they just went, no more testing. And on a much lesser problem than the problem that we have.
So this is a guy who is falling apart. I mean, he's disintegrating before our very eyes. And so the whole point is I've been building slowly to a climax here that there was this very abruptly scheduled press conference in the Rose Garden scheduled for just 12 minutes from now. We don't know anything about it. I don't know what is going to be said. I assume it will be hyperbole combined with, who knows what else. But we're here for it. I wasn't planning on streaming until later because we've got the chess tournament, but I am going to be covering it. We do have a hype train happening very powerfully right now at twitch.tv/David Pakman. Level 2 has been completed, and we are now on to level 3, and we will see what kind of progress is made there. Let me address some of the messages that are coming in by Super Chat. Now, if you're one of the 4,200 people currently watching on YouTube, these messages in the lower left of the screen that you see can be sent to me via Super Chat. And a few of those messages include Tony Spurgeon asking when the phone lines will next open. Tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. Seth Barham asks, David, where do you see us as a country around September if unemployment ends and evictions are allowed to happen? In an even worse place from the standpoint of Trump getting elected. You know, The Economist, which is no liberal rag. Oh, sorry, I froze there. It's no liberal rag, as you know, doesn't believe the election is competitive anymore. They just put out a report about that. So we're going to have to watch it. It may get worse before it gets better. Let's put it that way. Javi Rodriguez says, has any governor botched COVID more than DeSantis? Arguably not. Arguably not. Daniel Krieger says, I just freaking love you, man. Thanks, Daniel. Great to see you. Chris N says, how many Tesla shares do you own? I don't remember that, but I'm going to tell you guys something very powerful. I know many of you have been following what's going on with Tesla, or Tesla, as I like to pronounce it. And I've disclosed my stock ownership in Tesla many, many times before. Let me just look it up. I researched today. So Tesla is now trading at $1,500 per share. I bought Tesla on February 6th of 2015. Meaning the price on that day, February 6th, let's take a look here. February 6th, it was at, I bought it $206 per share. It's now trading at $1,500. Is it time to sell? Is it time to sell? I have so many people telling me, David, you've got to sell those shares. You've got to get out. Now, as many of you might remember, I did sell half when Elon Musk went on the Joe Rogan program. I think it was a couple years ago, and smoked pot, and investors went crazy. And then he tweeted that he was maybe going to take the company private. And the SEC was like, yeah, you can't just tweet about that. That's illegal. And this whole problem. I sold half at that point. Now, I believe that was around, when was that? That was around maybe $400 a share. In any case, I have half of the shares I bought in 2015, I still have at $1,500 a share. I don't ever really sell stocks. That's the thing. I am a Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham type of investor, and which mostly means I believe I can't really pick stocks and I just invest in mutual funds. But I do have 6 or 7% of my portfolio in some individual stocks. I've owned most of them for 5 years. I bought Amazon in February of 2015. I bought Netflix in February of 2015. I bought SiriusXM in February. I bought Alphabet in 2014, I think. At the time, it was Google. And I bought Tesla. Those are really the only ones I have. And I just hold indefinitely. That's my approach. So, you know, you guys tell me, as if I'm really going to listen to random people on Twitch, is it time for me to sell this Tesla stock? I don't know. I think I'm going to hold. Okay. Renholder57 says, please tell me he's resigning. I doubt it. Steve Waterstone says, speak the truth no matter what situation. Thank you from Australia. My pleasure. Eric Lamar, thank you for supporting my work. Per Tiren says, hi, y'all. Tiren visiting my dear friends. Very good. Diane Marzoni says, hey, David, watching from Tucson, Arizona. I feel sorry for you, Diane. I have friends in Tucson, and it is ugly there because of the virus. It's a beautiful city. I appreciate what you do and love the show. What do you think about Ghislaine Maxwell and the possibility of her safety? You know, I've talked about that a lot on the show, so I don't want to duplicate content, but certainly much of that has been discussed. Let me say some thank yous on Twitch because we are in the middle of a level 4 hype train with 3 minutes to go. Spaz667 has signed up. The Toothless Sage has subscribed. Who else here? Young Freud has subscribed with the message, I sub very strongly. Kaninins has subscribed. Walking Pancake is on month number 7. Utopian Gamer and folks like DM Quinta and Ilusic. Jane Fool. A lot of very strong subscriptions happening over on Twitch. Yeah, no punished Mutan today, but I do see you in the chat there. We are in the middle of a level 4 hype train. I still don't understand what it means, but I know it's good. I know it's very, very good. So that's happening. If you were watching on YouTube, I will remind you that I will be live streaming tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, the David Pakman Show 3rd ever chess tournament. I'm selling you nothing, only the opportunity to build community with me. You can register for the tournament for free at davidpakman.com/chess. As you can see, 243 people currently registered. I'm selling, it's just, you can play in a tournament. That's all. There's nothing on the tail end coming where I'm going to try to sell you something. I invite you to play, and I'll be streaming my participation. If you'd rather just watch me play, you can do that at 8 p.m. I'll be doing this stream, then I'm going to make some beautiful tacos, and I'll then start streaming probably about 20 of. And then a major announcement. I have been invited by Grandmaster, wait for it, Hikaru Nakamura, to be one of 16 participants in PogChamps 2, scheduled for late August, okay? I have been invited. That's what I'm supposed to say so far, pending any formal announcements. I will be coached by, actually, can I say? I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say who I'm being coached. I have 2 coaches, a man and a woman, both excellent chess players. The first training will be tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and that will be with the gentleman who will be coaching me. Next week, I will be probably doing a stream with the young lady who will be coaching me, and I am lucky that 2 of the premier, not just chess players, but 2 of the premier chess streamers, okay, are going to be coaching me in this tournament, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So we've got a lot, I mean, really, we've got a lot of great stuff happening over the next 6 weeks. That hopefully will give us a respite from the horrible failed leadership that we're experiencing here in the United States. So I think it's going to be really great. Other super chats coming in. Waffles Giraffles says, I'm acing watching this stream. Totally shocked. Yeah, doctors were shocked by how well Donald Trump was able to watch TV. They'd never seen anybody do that before. And Sean M says, David, Warren Buffett annually auctions off a private lunch to raise money for charity. Would you do something similar for your supporters? You know, I'd have to think about how much it's likely to raise, because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And I'd have to think about that. We are on a level 5 hype train with 2.5 minutes to go. People like Jay Ramsey have subscribed with messages like, the David Pakman Show is the only reason I have a Twitch account. That's a powerful statement. Subwolf Plays Games says, you rock, David. Stefan Rowe is in for 8 months, and we are getting dangerously close to completing today's hype train. What else did I have to show you? Oh, listen, I don't know. A lot of people have not seen this. About 1.5 years ago, the Westboro Baptist Church went and protested in Richmond, Virginia. And it just so happens that one of our key team members, Noah, producer Noah, lives in Richmond, Virginia. So we sent Noah to talk to the Westboro Baptist Church. This is really interesting video. This is sort of buried on our YouTube channel, but somebody mentioned it to me and I thought I would show it to you guys. This is so funny, where you're going to see Shirley Phelps Roper here, who I've interviewed. Police are sort of keeping people away from her, but as soon as Noah mentions the David Pakman Show, Shirley becomes interested in talking to him. I actually think she might have thought Noah was David Pakman, but that's just confusion. Take a listen to this.
You want to talk to the David Pakman Show?
She turns off the music.
We know each other. It's cool. Yeah, many times. We haven't had you on in a while. Would you be willing to come back on? What are you out here protesting today?
Well, several things, but mostly this nation is given over wholly to the sodomites. Wholly. And it's on full display out here. Just look around.
That's really interesting. Do you still think David Pakman is going to hell?
Everyone, except they repent, everyone will go to hell.
Is everyone in David Pakman's audience going to hell?
You have taken this subgroup of sodomites called transgender,
right,
and elevated it again with lightning speed to a position of respect in this country. What God has called an abomination.
And you said you would be willing to come back on our show? What do you think you guys would want to talk about if you came back on?
Whatever. He always has something to talk about. The only thing I'll be talking about is the Word of God.
Anyway, so isn't it great that they've kind of disappeared? I think it's a very, very good thing that nobody's really talking about them anymore. And certainly I won't be rehabilitating them, that's for sure. But it does seem, it wasn't clear whether she thought I was going to hell because I'm Jewish or because I'm a sodomite or because I'm transgender or what. It's really weird. I mean, and of course I'm not, but it was really bizarre. We are just minutes away from a very abruptly, if you're just joining us because it is the top of the hour, and the event was scheduled to start. This was a very abruptly scheduled press conference by Donald Trump. We don't know what to expect. And I'm guessing many of you, I think we have 10,000 people watching right now. What the hell is going on here? Hold on a second. Could that possibly be real? Are 10,000 people watching right now? 11,000 people are watching this. This is insane. I don't know that I've ever had, I think 12,000 is the most people I've ever had watch a stream. That's crazy. Maybe some of you 12,000 people know what to expect. I don't know. But what we know is that Donald Trump's polling is in the toilet. Donald Trump's cognition is in the trash. The Economist says that this election is no longer competitive. So we don't know what is going on. But I mean, I'm not even going to speculate. I'm just going to wait and see what it is that we are to expect here. Okay, let me mention, so here's one thing. I've been limiting my membership pitches to 1 minute during these streams, and it's been working unbelievably. And people write to me and they say, David, it seems the less you talk about membership, the more people sign up. So give me that 1 minute right now. This is viewer-supported media. We have staff. We have a studio. People have health insurance. I try to be a good employer. We're starting to look into retirement plans for our staff. I try to be one of the good guys. All of it really is funded primarily by people who just sign up on my website, joinpakman.com. We had at the beginning of July a big hole to dig out of in terms of memberships. About 300 people were not able to renew their memberships because of the virus, and that's horrible. And we're going to keep doing the show, and the show is for everybody. If you can help us dig out of that 300 member hole a little bit, I would love it. And you can grab a membership at joinpakman.com. I think on yesterday, we dug out about 17 members worth. And last week we dug out about 70 members worth. So we're making some progress. You can use that coupon code if you want, 2020 now. It'll save you 66%. It's not means tested. It's just do what you want. And if you pay for the year using that code, it's like $1.83 a month, which I think is eminently reasonable from the standpoint of content. So by all means, feel free to do that. A couple of people who just did are Anthony Lujan, who is new member number 1 today. Lisa H is new member number 2. And Nicholas Mischel is new member number 3. Which I love and very, very much appreciate as we stand by here for Donald Trump, scheduled for a few minutes ago. It looks like that's CNN's Jim Acosta ready to do a little pre-event briefing, I guess, to the CNN audience, which hopefully suggests that things are going to be happening very soon and very powerfully. If I see people confused about whether this is the chess tournament, no, the chess tournament is at 8 p.m. tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is an impromptu stream. I just got back from biking. I'm wearing athletic shorts, if you can imagine something more vile. And this was a very abruptly announced press conference. We don't know what is going on, but it was very abruptly and urgently announced. Media was gathered. We're not sure what to expect or who's going to be here. Trump increasingly at war with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Trump's polling in the toilet. this morning they had this try something new campaign where they're basically saying if you've lost your job, go and look for work in a different field, which is absolutely and completely insane. So we're all waiting together, but the chess tournament will be tonight. You can register at davidpakman.com/chess. As you can see here, we have 251 players registered. I am going to be playing, I'll be streaming, and we have we've got 7 players rated 2,000 or higher, but at the same time, we have people in the 600s and the 800s. It's really just for fun. That's all it is. You don't have to, it's just for fun. And I look forward to seeing a whole bunch of you fine folks there later. We right now have a record 144 people browsing our website at the same time, many of them on the membership page. I don't know what it is about what's going on today, but we are now at like 13,000 live concurrent viewers. This is the most people I've ever had watch any of my streams. This is insane. I have no idea what's going on. 9,300 on YouTube, 2,200 on Facebook, 1,700 on Twitch. Some people are watching on, I have no idea what is going on right now, but I guess we all want to see what it is Donald Trump is about to say. Unbelievable. Okay. For whatever reason, my super chats have not updated. Let me just black that out for a second and refresh. I think I know what might have happened because I see that super chats are coming in, but they're not actually showing up. Let me see here. I want to make sure that I see super chats. Here we go. We got them back. Very good. There they are. Okay. So let me see where I left off. I don't even see. Wow, there's so many. Collected. Maxwell. Acing. Okay, Zachary Foster says Trump is now saying COVID data needs to be collected by the National Guard. I didn't see that. Good vaccine news. I didn't see the vaccine news either. So let me see if I can find that. I've been trying to keep up with what's going on with vaccination. Let's see. Vaccine. Moderna to begin final human trial at the end of July. That is very good news. That's very good news. I'll dig into that probably on the show tomorrow. We have just broached 10,000 live viewers on YouTube alone. I think the only time that happened was once when I was about to broadcast a debate and CNN shut me down. They pinched off the entire stream. And that's happening right now, which is great. Unknown Prodigy says, David, you have got to sell those shares. You have got to get out of your Tesla stock. Seriously, sell. Okay. Chris N says, please take this money and buy 1/100th of a Tesla share. Karen Altman and Psychojet Black send super chats. Psychojet Black says, thoughts on neoliberalism versus corporatism. That's more of a topic for like a long form video, not so much for a live stream, but a very important topic for sure. Luke says, FYI, in addition to these weekly super chats, I'm also a subscriber on your website. Keep up the great work, David. Hashtag not Trump 2020. That I agree with. Karen Altman says, has anyone heard anything about Bolsonaro? Is he still saying COVID isn't a problem? I mean, he has it and he's taking hydroxy. Who knows what he believes at this point? Sean says, sell. Even if it goes to $2,000 a share, you'll still make more than 2 times the original price. Elon will kill the company at some point. A lot of pessimism about Tesla stock. Vegas Nightshade says, can't wait till tomorrow. Definitely will join. Danny Thompson says, if you paid $200 a share for Tesla and sold half for $400, you've made back your original investment, right? My advice would be to hold for a while. Why not if it is all profit? Interesting advice. Mike says, thank you for your reporting. What scheme do you anticipate Trump and Barr to queue up as they attempt to remain in power after the election? I actually am addressing that in detail on Friday. I'm addressing that on Friday. So that's going to be huge. Nikki Party has subscribed on Twitch and says, notice me, senpai, notice me. You've been noticed, Nikki. You are subscriber number 515 over on Twitch. Jim Acosta from CNN is now live on CNN, which I think means they've hopefully been given the 2-minute warning that Trump is coming out. I don't know what to expect, but it could be anything. This was a very abruptly scheduled press conference with Donald Trump, And we have 11, 13 and a half, 15,000 people watching along with me right now, which I very much appreciate, waiting to see. I have no prediction. I have no prediction for what we are expecting to see today. But it's anybody's guess. Thank you to my good friend I'm Inconsolable, who has just gifted 20 subscriptions on Twitch. I'm Inconsolable is the top gifter ever on my Twitch channel. And I don't know exactly how many he's gifted, but it's certainly in the hundreds, certainly in the hundreds. Jorge Mejia says, David, keep the streams coming, stay strongly. Per Tiran says, wow, you getting around. Geshmake says, much of what Trump says is an exaggeration. Yeah, that's true. I am confident if he and or his administration are considering this an emergency, be prepared for a letdown. I really enjoy your insights, David. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can follow me on Twitch. It's free to follow, and then you'll be notified of my streams. Like, for example, in 3 hours, I'll be running a chess tournament. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the stream and also hit that subscribe button. I don't know. Let me see here. What is going on in terms of subscribers? We are closing in on 880,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's been an explosion lately. We've not done anything different or special, so I really couldn't tell you what it is that's going on. But I'm certainly not complaining, that's for sure. Ali Max says, hey, David, just joined the stream. I saw a recent video from Kyle highlighting 32% of household payments haven't been made in July. This shocked me. Have you seen this too? Yes, we discussed it on the Monday bonus show. Wow, I'm Inconsolable gifting another 17 subscriptions on Twitch. That is unbelievable. That is completely unbelievable. A lot is certainly happening there. Yeah, I discussed that. Now, the housing payment thing is 32% of households did not make their entire July 1st housing payment. Doesn't make it that much better, but they didn't make their entire payment versus they didn't make any payment at all. But we're headed to a real eviction foreclosure crisis if things don't get taken care of. And well, I'm going to save this for tomorrow, but I sort of let slip on the bonus show today that it's occurred to me whether I might safely relocate myself for a period of time for coronavirus safety reasons. Let me just say that. And a bunch of people wrote to me saying they want to hear more about that. And so I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow on the broadcast show. And I look forward to discussing that with you. We have almost 13,000 people watching on YouTube right now. This is the biggest crowd I've ever had for a single stream on YouTube. I don't know where y'all are coming from, or you guys, as we say here in Massachusetts. But thank you. Also, close to 2,000 folks watching on Twitch, nearly 3,000 on Facebook. I believe we are right now somewhere in the 16 or 17,000 viewer range. I'm flummoxed. I genuinely have no idea what's going on. We must have hit some sweet spot in the YouTube algorithm or something like that. I don't know. This is crazy. Has this frozen? No, just Jim Acosta looks incredibly still. Very, very still. Okay. Daniel Tesfaye says, is it 90% likely that Trump loses the popular vote? Yeah, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I would bet Trump loses the popular vote. Matthias Germany says, I still believe Trump could resign to avoid losing. It's certainly within the realm of possibility. People on Twitch asking for multiple resolutions. I have no control over that. The way I'm not a Twitch partner, I'm only, I have an inferior status with Twitch. So it's based on how much bandwidth is available. And I have no control over that. Comrade Dostoevsky says, don't be surprised so many people are watching. You're a fantastic political analyst and your content is top notch. You and Kyle are my favorite. Thank you so much, comrade. And I didn't know my mom had changed her YouTube username to that, but I will, I'll call you later, Mom. I appreciate the support. John B says, I'm scared, to be honest. Can we hear you say something in Spanish? Love the show. Oh, there's many videos on YouTube of me speaking to viewers in Spanish, and I encourage you to check them out. We have just breached 14,000 live concurrent viewers on YouTube, by far the record. Let me take, if you're wondering, I'm guessing people are just looking for the press conference. And not only are they not looking for me, they don't like me. And that's okay. I'm glad you're here. But if you are just joining on YouTube, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. These things are free. And I love that you're here. And if you want to do something, if you're bored and you want to do something tonight, I'm running a chess tournament at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's free to play. I'll be playing. I'm terrible, but I'll be playing. And you can register at davidpakman.com/chess. 261 people currently registered. And I would love for some of you new viewers who certainly must be here for the first time to play in that chess tournament tonight. It would be a fantastic thing. Walter Aimroyd says the only poll friendly to Trump is Putin's poll. Beautiful. Well done. Thanks to H. Larson for the super chat from Norway. Thanks to Ty Jones for the YouTube subscription. Wow, 3,000 likes on the stream. That is crazy. That is absolutely wild. Thanks to that darn Steve for the Twitch Prime subscription. Steve says, thanks for the insightful coverage, David. I started following after the Joe Rogan appearance, and I can't help but agree with the praise you got on YouTube. You've got exceptional analysis. That's so nice, Steve. You know, usually a lot of my viewers really dislike me. And it's a great thing to see some positive comments. I really appreciate that. Let's see here. Bing says, stimulus money, I bet. Maybe Trump is announcing a second stimulus. That's actually interesting. I wonder if Donald Trump has decided, in order to try to regain control of this runaway pandemic and economic situation and election, maybe Trump is announcing that more stimulus checks are coming. That's a possibility. That's a possibility, and we will see. We will soon see. Trump 16 minutes late now, and yeah. Well, I don't. It seems that there's a lot of movement. Wait a second. What's going on now? Oh, Yamiche Alcindor is back and sitting down. A lot of people putting on their jackets. It must be that Trump is about to come out. Okay. We have surpassed 15,000 live viewers on YouTube. We have set a record today. Also, there are just so many people signing up on my website right now that I can't even keep track of it. Michael Hughes, Anna Lee, Alan Newworth, Rachel Klein, Joe Higgins, Kate Foster, Neam Bell, Avi Rifkin, a lot of fellow tribe members signing up. Love it. Melanie Ramos, Lisa Stanich. I'm falling behind, but I really appreciate everybody who's signing up. I really do. Yeah, this is late. Trump is running late. Everybody, the male reporters just put on their suit coats, so I assume that Trump is coming out soon. Seems to be a big glare here. I think our friend Weijia Jiang here from CBS News, she follows me. She's great. She is what we call a friend of the David Pakman Show, having to use her papers to block the glare. But it looks like we are getting very, very close. Darren asks, Pakman for president when? I cannot be president of the United States. I was not born here. I am a naturalized U.S. citizen. So much like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I am unable to be president of the United States, at least for the time being. We have just passed 17,000 live concurrent viewers on YouTube. This is historic. This is historic. It is an historic day. Ahistoric, I like an historic. Trump to announce the jailing of Biden. No, I'm kidding. That's in his dreams, But welcome to all who are just joining. And I hope that I know a lot of you at this point, it's very clear. A lot of the 20,000 people who are watching right now are clearly not looking for me. They're looking for the Trump presentation. if you can call it that. And to you, I say, I hope I don't interfere too much with you watching what we are about to see here. We have a pan happening. Is Trump coming out? Apparently not yet, but it looks like the crowd is very powerfully ready for Donald Trump. Very, very powerfully. Sam Dean is checking in with a super chat from Australia. G'day, mate. Maybe coincidentally, the Pence and Louisiana Governor Edwards joint news briefing at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge is running 2 hours late. That's interesting. Maybe this is to announce a new stimulus package. Maybe it is. That is very, very interesting. And if it is, maybe they would be delaying in order for Pence to be able to say more help is coming, sort of thing. That's certainly a possibility. We are now 20 minutes late, and this is normal for Trump. I mean, he's late all the time. No respect for the press, no respect for the audience whatsoever. But we will hear something very soon. Tanner Audia says, I was in Edgartown at the same time. Oh, that just scrolled by. Where did that go? Where is that? Pac-Man. Okay. I was in Edgartown when you were on Martha's Vineyard. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, you can check. I was on Martha's Vineyard for a very, very safe, completely safe, socially distant, physically distant vacation a few weeks ago. I broadcast from there. If you follow me on Instagram at david.pacman, I have a bunch of pictures up from my trip there. And you can see there's not a soul in sight. Not a soul in sight. But yeah, david.pacman on Instagram. That's where those beautiful, beautiful pictures are. I may be going, I mean, listen, I want to do what is safe. And what I read is the safest is you do a road trip in your own state. That's the safest thing to do right now. And that's exactly what I did. There is a 35-minute ferry to get from Woods Hole to Martha's Vineyard. And it felt reasonable. I just sat in the car the entire time and it was fine. Okay. Billy Vanilli says Trump will announce Kanye as his new running mate. Can you imagine? Van A. Dulles says, what's going on at the White House? We're all waiting to see. We did reach 20,000 live concurrent viewers on YouTube. Thank you so much. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We did this. I don't even know what's happening. We just picked up 400 YouTube subscribers somehow. We are now at 879,000 and I'm getting text messages blowing up. Nobody knows what's going on. This is clearly an error. I think YouTube meant to promote Fox News and something in the algorithm must have gotten mixed up and they're promoting me and furious Trumpists are showing up and they are absolutely livid with the fact that I showed up in their recommendations feed. I think that that's what happened because there's no sensible reason why I would have 21,000 people watching on YouTube and another 2,000 on Twitch and another, by the way, 3,100 people on Facebook is also a record. I've never seen anything like it. Just as a reminder, another brutal, brutal day of coronavirus cases here in the United States. The day is not over and we are already at 51,000 new cases. Florida and Florida, Texas, Arizona, Georgia, California leading the way. As you will notice, the only state in the top 15 that is a blue state is California. Deaths ticking up, record deaths in Florida, close to a record in Arizona. Arizona did have somewhere like around 105 or 110. Texas, Alabama, not good. Let me see how Massachusetts is doing. 303 cases, that's not great. I don't like that. 10 deaths, that's good. And I think our curve is still looking pretty good. Yeah, that's, listen, I'm not bragging. I'm grateful to live in Massachusetts right now, given what is going on in much of the world. It is very bad. California is having to shut down again. It's a disaster in Texas. It's insane. Let me say thanks to a few people who have just picked up Twitch Prime subscriptions. Public Enemy 250, Grayson Madness 24, Jahaman has subscribed. Kaleo, Jamlock, Quabit Sezwans, a Faceplant Kagers, and a lot of other great people are signing up on Twitch, which I very much appreciate. If you're just joining us, we are now approaching 30 minutes late, Donald Trump, for his urgent and abruptly announced press briefing. We have 23,000 people watching on YouTube, which is more than double the most I've ever had. If you want to get your message, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to get your message up in the lower left of the screen, that's called Super Chat. And it's a beautiful way to get a question or a comment to me. Sean T says, time, it's AM in the Southern Hemisphere. It's not so much about north-south. Like in my birth country of Argentina, it's an hour later. It's 6:30 p.m. It's more about, anyway, that's for a different day. Verum Teray says, David, can you bring Andrew Yang on the show or go on his podcast? So we've continued to invite Andrew Yang to be back on. He has not accepted. And I'm glad to be back on with, I'm glad to be on with him anytime, but I have not had the pleasure of being invited. Stuart Keating says, who's the hottest IDW member? Probably Eric Weinstein, right? I mean, that guy, that guy is something else. No, listen, I assume you're asking, since I exclusively date women, I assume you're asking who's the hottest woman in the IDW. I couldn't name, I don't know who's in the IDW. You'd have to give me a list of people to pick from. I have no idea. Thomas Powell says, UK viewer, David, this is a great show. Thank you. I am CompuBear says, Mitch McConnell just announced a second stimulus bill to pass. Oh, is that true? Mitch McConnell, second stimulus. Mitch McConnell open to a second round of stimulus checks, sources say. So I'm not seeing any news that it has been announced. I'm not seeing that right now. If I love it. If people are pointing out in the chat, this is not the chess tournament. The chess tournament is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm hoping for some time to make some tacos between now and then, but you can register for free at davidpakman.com/chess. That's tonight. Okay. This is an abruptly scheduled Donald Trump press conference. And I'm increasingly wondering if it is because Donald Trump is going to announce a second stimulus package. And we will soon know. Unknown Prodigy says, hey, why no berserk in the chess tournament? You know, there's not too many ways to encourage higher quality chess than to just not allow berserk. Berserk is when you can basically have your time allotted and you get double the points if you win. I've just always disabled berserk because it feels like a way to encourage slightly better chess to be played. Johnny Bishop says, I'm a big fan from the UK. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Sweet Baby Bladefoot says, what's the over-under on taking press questions? I actually think today Trump will take press questions. Trump knows that he's on the ropes, and he thinks he's great at answering questions. Of course, him answering questions led to him offhandedly wondering about injecting bleach and isopropyl alcohol into the body to deal with the virus. So it's a bad idea for him to take questions. He thinks he's great at answering questions. I think he is likely to take questions today. G-Man says, can you do a JoJo pose and sell an autographed picture? I have no idea what that is. I hope it's not racist. Erica and Mel signing up. Simbarash Meshanyare says, shout out from Zimbabwe. Simba. I believe that's the first Zimbabwean super chat that we've had. Other folks signing up. Thomas Powell says, smash the like button. Yeah, we've got 25,000 live concurrent viewers on YouTube and just a hair short of 5,000 likes. Unbelievable. Powerful 2,000 on Twitch. 400 more people just subscribed to the YouTube channel. Guys, this is nuts. We might actually hit 880,000 subscribers by the end of this stream. It's absolutely crazy. I hope some of you will be here for the chess tournament tonight. William Chan says, ever play shogi? Kind of like a chess cousin. I have not played it. Jada Kid says, thanks to all the Miami Cubans who love to vote Republican, DeSantis and Trump are your doing. Shake my head. Per Tiren, coming in out of nowhere with 500 Swedish kroner, says, Fauci is a Leah. Corona is gone. Unemployment are at 0%. All of America loves Trump. All African Americans all have well-paid jobs. China and Iran bows to Trump blood throne. So for people who don't know, Per Tiran is a Swedish viewer. I don't know if Per writes his super chats in English or he's running them through some kind of harebrained auto translate. We love Per. Per always puts together these incredibly ungrammatical super chats. He's a big time supporter, a long time supporter. Social democracy clearly doing very, very well in Sweden. And we just, I don't know what they mean. It's always like, I don't know if Per is joking or if that's some kind of strange Google Translate. Rhonda Guthrie Taft says, come to Canada. We'll keep you safe. Love your commentary and insights. Here is Donald Trump. Let's see what is going on. It doesn't look like the White House stream is live, so we'll go with this stream. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
Thank you very much, everybody. Please. Hope it's not too hot, but it's pretty warm. Thank you. So, we've had a big day in the stock market. Things are coming back, and they're coming back very rapidly.
Uh-oh.
A lot sooner than people thought. People are feeling good about our country. People are feeling good about
Can everybody
therapeutics and possible vaccines. But we're going to go over quite a bit, and maybe at the end we'll take some questions if we have time.
This is going to be crazy.
It's not too hot. Today I signed legislation and an executive order to hold China accountable for its oppressive actions against the people of Hong Kong.
Give me a break.
The Hong Kong Autonomy Act, which I signed this afternoon, passed unanimously through Congress. This law gives my administration powerful new tools to hold responsible the individuals and the entities involved in extinguishing Hong Kong's freedom. We've all watched what happened. Not a good situation. Their freedom's been taken away, their rights have been taken away, and with it goes Hong Kong, in my opinion, because it will no longer be able to compete with free markets. A lot of people will be leaving Hong Kong, I suspect. And we're going to do a lot more business because of it, because we just lost one competitor. It's the way it is. We lost a very, very serious competitor that we incentivized to take a lot of business and do well. And we gave them a lot of business by doing what we did. We gave them things that nobody else had the right to do. And that gave them a big...
So point one is a total distraction. It has nothing to do with the crisis of coronavirus.
Really historic business, tremendous business, far bigger than anybody would have thought years ago when we did this gift. It was really a gift to freedom. Today, I also signed an executive order ending U.S. preferential treatment for Hong Kong. Hong Kong will now be treated the same as...
Is he really doing this and it's all about Hong Kong? Like, if that's the case, that would be insane.
Export of sensitive technologies. In addition to that, as you know, we're placing massive tariffs and have placed very large tariffs on China. First time that's ever happened to China.
We're going to switch to the White House feed. That Fox feed is toxic.
And that gave them a big edge over other markets. And because of that edge, they've done really historic business, tremendous business, far bigger than anybody would have thought years ago when we did this gift. It was really a gift to freedom. Today, I also signed an executive order ending U.S. preferential treatment for Hong Kong. Hong Kong will now be treated the same as mainland China. No special privileges, no special economic treatment, and no export of sensitive technologies. In addition to that, as you know, we're placing massive tariffs and have placed very large tariffs on China. First time that's ever happened to China. Billions of dollars have been paid to the United States, of which I've given quite a bit to the farmers and ranchers.
American businesses pay the tariffs, not China. Remember that, basic econ.
And that's been going on for 3 years. It's the first time anybody's ever done anything like that. And prior to the plague pouring in from China, they were having the worst year, as you know, in 67 years. And I don't want them to have a bad year. I want them to have a good year. But they were taking advantage of the United States for many, many years. And that's stopping. But then the virus came in and The world is a different place, but we're now getting back, and one of the reasons the market's doing so, it's almost at the point that it was at prior to the plague.
Here we go.
Almost. We're getting very close. It's a great thing. It's an amazing thing what our people have done and what they've endured.
Right.
No administration has been tougher on China than this administration. We imposed historic tariffs. We stood up to China's intellectual property theft.
This was urgent.
At a level that nobody's ever come close. We confronted untrustworthy Chinese technology and telecom providers. We convinced many countries, and I did this myself for the most part.
How crazy is it that only 19,000 people are watching this on the White House channel and 35,000 people are watching it on my channels?
I talked many countries out of using it. If they want to do business with us, they can't use it. Just today, I believe that UK announced that they're not going to be using it. And that was up in the air for a long time, but they've decided. And you look at Italy, you look at many other countries. We withdrew from the Chinese-dominated WHO, and we fully rebuilt the United States military, the WHO.
He's going back to
World
that.
Health Organization. We were paying close to $500 million a year. China was paying $39 million a year.
This can't be why he's doing this.
And China had too much say. They worked it very hard.
Is there some
Which is
announcement
a-
coming?
Bad thing done by our past administrations, but we were tough, and we were saying, I was asking, I said, why are we paying so much more than China? China has 1.4 billion people. We have 325, probably 325 million approximately. Nobody can give the exact count. We're trying to get an exact count, but you have, over the years, many illegals who have come into the country.
Right. The guy who defunded the census wants an exact count.
325 to 350 million people as opposed to 1.4 billion people. And the world trade is terrible. That deal is terrible. The World Health is a terrible deal. We've been very tough on the World Trade Organization, and we've been, I guess, as tough as you can get on World Health. We withdrew our money. We told them we're getting out. Doesn't mean that someday we won't go back in. Maybe we will when it's correctly run, but they made a lot of bad predictions, and they said a lot of bad things about what to do and how to do it, and they turned out to be wrong. And they were really a puppet of China. And make no mistake, we hold China fully responsible for concealing the virus and unleashing it upon the world. They could have stopped it. They should have stopped it. Would have been very easy to do at the source when it happened. In contrast, Joe Biden's entire career has been a gift
Oh my God.
to the Chinese Communist Party and to the calamity
Holy shit.
of errors that they've made. They made so many errors, and it's been devastating for the American worker.
This is the strategy?
China has taken out hundreds of billions of dollars a year from our country, and we rebuilt China. I give them all the credit in the world. I don't give the credit for the people that used to stand here, because they allowed this to happen, where hundreds of billions of dollars were taken out of the United States
It's so
Treasury
weak.
in order to rebuild.
Abrupt press conference, pandemic raging, to attack Biden and Obama? That's what he's doing? That's the strategy?
Country in the world has ever ripped off the United States like the incredible job that they did on this country and the people that ran it.
Is he slurring now?
Possibly it's one of the reasons. Certainly it's one of the very big reasons, trade and things related to trade, that I got elected in the first place. I've been talking about it for a long time, along with many other subjects, frankly. Joe Biden supported China's entry into the World Trade Organization, one of the greatest geopolitical and economic disasters in world history. If you look at China, you look at the moment they joined the World Trade, they were flatlining for years and years and
Who's
years.
going to change their vote because of this?
And then all of a sudden they joined the World Trade Organization, and they went like a rocket ship. They were given all sorts of advantages. They were considered a developing country. As a developing country, they got tremendous advantages over the United States and other countries. And they took advantage of those advantages and and then some.
They took advantage of
Biden
those
personally
advantages.
led the effort to give China permanent most favored nation status, which is a tremendous advantage for a country to have. Few countries have it, but the United States doesn't have it. Never did, probably never even asked for it, because they didn't know what they were doing. As Vice President, Biden was a leading advocate of the Paris Climate Accord, which was unbelievably expensive to our country, would have crushed American manufacturers while allowing China to pollute the atmosphere with impunity. Yet one more gift from...
His aides must have said, you know, I don't know that it makes sense to just call a press conference abruptly and attack Biden, right? Like someone behind the scenes must have thought this was a bad idea.
Of oil, we would have had to close up tremendous amounts of our energy to qualify eventually, not too far into the future. We would have had to do things that would have been unbelievably destructive to our country, including the possible closing of 25% of our businesses. Think of that. And it was going to cost us hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for the privilege of being involved in the Paris Climate Accord.
I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
And you just have to look at what took place this year in Paris and France, where money was being sent to countries all over the world, and the people of France didn't want to take it, and they didn't, and they did a lot of rioting. They had their taxes raised. We would have had to raise our taxes, and it was a disaster. I've been given a lot of credit for what I did there. It took a certain amount of courage, I guess, because it sounds so nice, the Paris Climate Accord, but it wasn't good for us at all.
No one's giving him credit for getting out of that other than idiots. Everybody's in the Paris Climate Accords.
Joe Biden was vice president. Think of that, 10,000 factories. He wrote something today, and he made a statement today that I wrote down, pretty accurate. So Biden was here for 47 years, 8 years, the last 8 years, not long ago, as vice president, he said, 1 in 5 miles of our highways are still in poor condition. Well, we're doing a good job on highways, but why didn't he fix them 3 years ago? Why didn't he fix them? Tens of thousands of bridges are in disrepair and on the verge of collapse. Well, it's probably not a right number, but we have bridges that should have been fixed. Why didn't he fix them? He was there for 8 years with President Obama. Why didn't they fix them? Tens of thousands of bridges. This is what he wrote. High-speed broadband. We want high-speed broadband. Well, why didn't he get it?
If I were Biden, I would just sit in the basement. I mean, this is a total self-destruction.
He's going to be president, and as president, he's going to do all the things that he didn't do. He never did anything except make very bad decisions, especially on foreign policy. So Joe Biden and President Obama freely allowed China to pillage our factories, plunder our communities, and steal our most precious secrets. And I've stopped it largely, but I've stopped it. And it wasn't easy, because you talk about a certain power of the telephone and the calls, where they would call and say, no, we don't want to do that.
What is he
Other countries
talking
would
about?
call on behalf of China, but I did it. I did what has to be done.
This feels like a turning point in some sense.
Take a look at at the numbers where they devalued their currency in order to pay the tariffs. Now the Democrat Party is calling for defunding of our military. Think of that, defunding. They want to defund our military when China is building a massive military. They're building a massive military, and Biden wants to defund our military. And the world needs American strength right now more than ever, and we've got it. We've got now, soon, as all this equipment comes in, all made in the USA, we've got the newest, most incredible weapons anywhere in the world. We have the best tanks, the best ships, the best missiles, rockets.
Oh my God.
We have the best of everything. We have the best fighter jets, the F-35.
Even if you care about the fighter jets, Trump has nothing to do with that. We'll have the best fighter jets if Biden's president. We had him when Obama was. What the hell is he talking about?
Bombers. Hope we don't have to use them. But we have the most incredible military. When I came in, the military was totally depleted.
That's a lie.
It was at a level that was just absolutely incredible.
It was
You know
fine.
the statements. I made the statements before. I told you what generals told me about our military. And I'll make
Nobody
them
told
again.
them
If
that.
somebody needs them, we'll give them to you. Very well documented. As vice president, Biden opposed tariffs, and he was standing up for China. He didn't want to do anything to disrupt the relationship with China, even though China was taking us to the cleaners. He opposed my very strict travel ban on Chinese nationals to stop the spread of the China virus. He was totally against it. Xenophobic, he called me. Xenophobic. A month later, he admitted I was right. We would have had thousands of people additionally die if we let people come in from heavily infected China.
This is so stupid that there must be something Jared Kushner's doing right now that's even dumber than this, that this is meant to distract from, right? Like, what other reason would there be to do this right now?
And others too. They all thought what I did was a terrible mistake. We would have lost, in fact, Dr. Fauci said he would have lost thousands of additional people if President Trump had to do that. And I was a crowd of one, because even experts didn't want to do it. They thought it was a mistake. And then I did Europe when I started seeing what was going on in Italy and Spain and France and other countries in Europe. I
Quick
did
action.
a ban on people coming in from Europe. That would have been disastrous for our country also. And we saved tens of thousands of lives, but we actually saved millions of lives by closing up. We saved millions, potentially millions of lives. Could be a number that we're actually working on, but it could be 2 to 3 million lives. So we're at 135,000.
Remember, it used to be 1 million. When Trump was saying it would be 60K dead, it could have been 1 million, maybe 1.5. Then it was 1.8, then 2 to 2.5. Now he's raised 3 million for the first time I've heard.
And now we'll put out the flames as it happens. We have to get the schools open. We have to get everything open. A lot of people don't want to do that for political reasons, not for other reasons. But if we had listened to Joe Biden, hundreds of thousands of additional lives would have been lost. And if you look at the job he did on swine flu, I looked at a poll. They have polls on everything nowadays.
Yeah, we've seen
And they got very bad marks on the job they did on the swine flu.
Only 130,000 have died, right? I mean, it's only like 35 9/11s. Why is everybody so worked up over Trump?
Got very poor marks from Gallup on the job they did on swine flu. And they stopped very early on testing. They totally stopped it. They just said stop. And frankly, if we didn't test, you wouldn't have all the headlines because we're showing cases.
Here he goes.
And we have just about the lowest mortality rate.
9th highest.
But if we did, think of this, if we didn't do testing, instead of testing over 40 million people, if we did half the testing, we'd have half the cases. If we did another,
this guy's an idiot.
You cut that in half, we'd have yet again half of that. But the headlines are always testing. Now, the testing is a good thing, but at the same time,
the best way to prevent pregnancy is don't give a single person a pregnancy test. No pregnancies.
40 million plus, going to be very close to 45 million people. And when I turn on the news, I see cases, cases, cases. They don't talk about deaths being cut down to a level that actually tenfold they use. I got that from one of the very respected.
Yeah, he doesn't know what it means, and it's wrong also.
Not tenfold deaths, but they don't talk about that. They talk about cases, and the cases are created because of the fact that we do tremendous testing. We have the best testing in the world. We now make ventilators for the world. We had very few ventilators. There wasn't one person in any hospital anywhere in this country that needed a ventilator that didn't get it.
I believe we know of at least 2 people where decisions had to be made like that.
In some cases, we mobilized to a level that nobody thought possible. Nothing's happened like that since World War II. Our task force has done a great job. Mike Pence worked so hard, it gets so little credit. Sad to see that, actually. But he worked so hard, gets so little credit. The governors would tell us, we'd be on the phone with 50 different governors. They'd all tell us what a great job, great job.
There it is.
And then they'll go to the media and say, well, They didn't do such a good job. Well, we did a great job. We made a lot of governors look fantastic. We did in New York. What we did in New York was one of the most incredible things. 2,800 bed in Javits Center, but the governor used very few of them, unfortunately. Then we moved in
the chat, please tell me what the point of this is.
So to Los Angeles. And we could have used that for our senior citizens. We could have used it for other
Nobody
people. They
knows,
could have
okay.
used it instead of sending our seniors back into nursing homes that were infected, where you lost thousands of people. Thousands of people in New York died because of poor management by the governor. And it's a very sad thing to see, and very sad to watch, and very sad to look at those statistics. But we have an incredible Javits Center that we built with thousands of beds. I think it was 2,800, all ready to go. And they could have sent people there, or they could have sent senior citizens there instead of sending them into the nursing homes. And after all of that work and getting it done, the Army Corps of Engineers, I mean, the job they did was incredible. They built it in.
Is this off the cuff? Like, Trump's no longer reading, right? Or is this notes?
FEMA, everybody was there, doctors. We ended up getting doctors. They said, we can't man it. I said, so we'll man it and woman it. And that's what we did. We brought in doctors, nurses, everything. We're all set. We said, where are the people? They didn't send the people. Very few people came in. They could have sent them into the Javits Center. They could have sent them to the hospital ship, which was virtually unused, but we were there. By contrast, my administration acted very early to ban travel
Now he's back on
from
the script.
China, from Europe, saving all of these lives. Incredible. And I want everyone to know, I want every citizen to know that we're using the full power of the federal government to fight the China virus and to keep our people safe. Through Operation Warp Speed, we will deliver a vaccine in record-breaking time. We're doing very well on the vaccines. We have many, many different vaccines being studied right now, many of which are looking really good.
Please remember, the vaccine will have nothing to do with Donald Trump, and it may come from a different country altogether.
Taking a risk, an economic risk of preparing for delivery because we feel very certain it's going to be there. But logistically, we have our military ready to go. We have generals, that's all they do is distribute things, and they're going to be distributing, hopefully, a vaccine or a therapeutic. And it's coming out really well. And I think you're going to have some good news very, very quickly having to do with the vaccines. We're also working with many other countries on the vaccine. Many countries are working with us. We're unleashing our nation's scientific genius to kill the virus. Joe Biden didn't just side with China.
There he is.
On the virus. He did. He called me again.
He's like flipping between Biden attacks and like unrelated things. It's very weird. Does he have the pages of his speech mixed up?
His quote, a very positive development. Not a positive development. Not for us, it's not. He said that the idea that China is our competition is really bizarre. He's really bizarre. He said, China's not a problem. No. Nobody's ripped us off more than China over the last 25, 30 years. Nobody close. And he says, China's not a problem. Now he takes it all back now. Now he wants to be Mr. Tough Guy. But for years,
my goodness.
47 years, he never came out against China, never said anything bad, just the opposite. His son walked out with $1.5 billion of money to invest, where he'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars a year. Walked out with $1.5 billion. I asked one of the biggest people on Wall Street, maybe the biggest, is that possible? He said no. He's never seen it. They don't do that. But Hunter, where's Hunter? Where is Hunter, by the way? Hunter Biden walked out with $1.5 billion. In Ukraine, he got $83,000 a month, and I guess an upfront payment of $3 million. So he went from not having a job.
Guys, this is crazy. This is really nuts.
$83,000 a month with a lot of money paid up front to work for Burisma. And you all know about Burisma. But nothing happens. Nobody cares. And he was unemployed, as you know. He was unfortunately forced to leave the military. He was forced to leave. Didn't have a job, and all of a sudden he's making a fortune. But nobody talks about that.
How much have his kids made off of his presidency, I wonder?
More fawning praise about China on an ordinary day than about America. On the 4th of July, the last Independence Day, Biden attacked the United States and said we had, quote, never lived up to the ideals of our fathers, our forefathers, or our founding fathers, those founding ideals. And yet he enthusiastically stated that China is a great nation and we should hope for its continued expansion. Well, we all wish well to China, but what China's unleashed on the world, it's hard to even fathom. I see people now, friends of mine, they walk up, they want to say hello, and they have to keep their distance, and they're all covered up like you're all covered up with face masks. It's a different world, but we're coming out on top. Biden sides with China over America time and time again.
By the way, the number of people getting banned who are watching this stream for anti-Semitic comments about me right now, it's shocking. Like, what are you doing with your lives that you just show up and say anti-Semitic things about me? It's really weird. But in any case, a lot of ban hammers are being dropped.
So fast. He's so proud of them. He's so proud of them. Now Joe Biden is pushing a platform that would demolish the U.S. economy, totally demolish it. So we built the greatest.
Remember, stocks do better under Democratic presidents, unemployment lower under Democratic presidents, inflation lower under Democratic presidents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. GDP growth greater under Democratic presidents. Just the facts.
Best for African American, Asian American, Hispanic American. Best for women, best for everybody. Best for young people that didn't have a high school diploma, didn't have a college diploma. They had a diploma, they were really in good shape. We built the greatest ever, stock market highest ever in history. We had 143 days of all-time stock market highs in just less than 3.5 years.
Is this a campaign rally or
and
what is this?
We had to close it down because we did the right thing by doing that. As I said, we saved millions of lives. But China was saying, this is incredible what's going on. China was for the first time respecting the United States. And now they want to do something that's much different, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So I've watched this, and I've watched it with great interest.
Give us an announcement.
We're building our economy again.
Policy.
I guess the stock market went up almost 500 points today or something thereabouts. You'll check, but it was up a lot when I left. And our economy is coming back. We're almost at a level where, even though it's long before the
12% unemployment.
very important, maybe the most important ever election of November 3rd.
Agreed.
We're long before that, but we're close to record stock markets again, and NASDAQ hit an all-time high for the 16th time. Think of that, for the 16th time over the last month or so, for the 16th time. So one of our markets already hit an all-time high. Today, Joe Biden gave a speech in which he said that the core of his economic agenda is a hard left crusade against American energy. He wants to kill American energy. He wants to re-enter the unfair, one-sided Paris Climate Accord, which will destroy us, at the expense of many other nations who benefit. It was actually drawn, in my opinion, to take advantage of the United States.
Sure.
Just like so many other deals are done to take advantage of the fools running.
Just like many countries are now taking advantage of the fools that are running the Oval Office as we speak.
American industry, while greatly helping China. He wants to impose massive energy taxes and job-crushing mandates to eliminate carbon from the United States economy. Let him define the word carbon, because he won't be able to. Obliterating American oil, clean coal, natural gas, and the natural energy resources that supply countless American jobs. Joe Biden put AOC, a young woman, not talented in many ways, in charge of his energy plan.
My God.
And the environment, essentially. Her and Bernie Sanders,
Yeah.
who ran a lot of times for president, never made it. Good base, but that's about it. In other words, he wants to impose the Green New Deal on our country. When I first saw the Green New Deal, I thought it was a joke. I said, this will never go anywhere. Now they're trying to impose it. This will destroy our country.
Where'd that wall across the entire southern border and replacing Obamacare with something beautiful go?
Competition with China and with many other countries throughout the world. We're in tremendous economic competition, including Europe, which has never treated us well. The European Union was formed in order to take advantage of the United States. They formed, and they take advantage of the United States.
This is tragic.
And I know that. They know I know that. But other presidents had no idea.
Right.
Last week, Joe Biden released his unity platform developed with socialist Bernie Sanders, describing what he would do if elected president. The Biden-Sanders agenda is the most extreme platform of any major party nominee, by far, in American history. I think it's worse than actually Bernie's platform. It's gone so far right. And he's doing that because he's begging for that vote.
Well, what's true is that if elected, Biden would actually have the most progressive platform of any president in the modern era. Biden's policy is certainly to the left of Obama's.
Couple of weeks. And these are actual key elements of the Biden-Sanders unity platform. Abolish immigration detention. No more detention. You come in here illegally, no more detention. Stop all deportations. So if we get a MS-13 gang member, which we've taken out of our country by the thousands, brought them back to Honduras, Guatemala, can't do that anymore. El Salvador, can't do that anymore. Stop all deportations. In other words, we'll take all of these people, many of whom are in prison for rape, murder, lots of other things.
Wait, they're already in prison?
And prosecution of
What?
illegal border crossers. Oh, okay, they come in illegally and we have to stop the whole process. Support the deadly sanctuary cities where many of these people are protected better than the American citizen is
Wait,
protected.
are they in prison? Are they in sanctuary cities? Are they out on the street in gangs? Are they, look, which people is he talking about?
That's exactly what they do. Incentivize illegal alien child smuggling. They're incentivized by what this plan calls for.
Is he high right now?
Expand asylum for all new illegal aliens. How about that one? All new illegal aliens. Expand asylum. Cancel all asylum cooperation agreements in the Western Hemisphere. Well, we have agreements with Honduras, Guatemala,
This can't be real.
with El Salvador.
How was he allowed to
we
do
have
this?
great agreements where when Biden and Obama used to bring killers out, they would say, don't bring them back to our country. We don't want them. Well, we have to. We don't want them. They wouldn't take them. Now with us, they take them. Someday I'll tell you why. Someday I'll tell you why. But they take them, and they take them very gladly. They used to bring them out, and they wouldn't even let the airplanes land if they brought them back by airplanes. They wouldn't let the buses into their country. They said, we don't want them. Said, no, but they entered our country illegally, and they're murderers, they're killers in some cases. And they said, nope, we don't want them. They'd turn the bus around, they'd turn the plane around, then they'd land in the United States, and who knows what happened to them. But it wasn't good. Taxpayer-funded lawyers will be given to all illegal aliens. So we're going to pay now for
I mean, listen, do we have due process or don't we? That doesn't seem controversial.
illegal aliens, taxpayer-funded lawyers. How does that sound? Pretty good? In other words, come in here illegally. We're going to give you free legal advice. We'll take you up to the Supreme Court as much as possible. Abolish immigration enforcement against illegal workers. Think of that. Abolish immigration enforcement.
Well, you've got to enforce it against the companies, really. If nobody hired them, they wouldn't be coming here. And of course, we're dependent on them actually being here and working.
Down the wall. They're taking it down. They want to take down the wall, which we fought hard for. We're up to 259 miles right now of great, powerful wall that's really working, because if you look at the numbers, in addition to the fact that Mexico, for various reasons, has 27,000 soldiers on our southern border to keep people out of our country. And I appreciate it. We had a great meeting.
I'm getting WhatsApp messages from my family in Argentina. They're watching the stream. They don't understand how this is something that's happening in the country. Like, how did Trump get here today and deliver this speech? How is this possible?
But he's a great guy, and he's a friend of mine, and they've been terrific. Mexico has been terrific. 27,000 soldiers on our border, Mexican soldiers. And we have great, great numbers. We get rid of so many different things. Catch and release is gone. So many different things have taken place. We used to catch them
take their name and release them into our country. We don't do that anymore.
Okay.
We now release them back where they came from. Sometimes we'll bring them back to their country. Grant work permits for illegal aliens. So if you come in illegally, you get a work permit. People that live here don't get work permits, in many cases. Provide taxpayer subsidies and welfare for illegal aliens and new immigrants. So we want to provide taxpayer subsidies and welfare for people that come into our country illegally, illegal immigrants. They want government health care for all illegal aliens. This is part of their plan. I'm not making this up. This is all down in their plan from last week. And this is good compared to what I heard today.
Tell us more.
Federal student aid and free community college for illegal aliens. What do you think about that? Federal student aid and free community college. We're going to have every person in the world pouring into our country from all over the world. And by the way, the wall was so timely because it stopped people coming in from heavily infected areas of Mexico.
This has been going on for 34 minutes. It feels like it's been going on for hours.
You wouldn't believe. And remember, cases is different than deaths. And cases we give you because our testing is the best in the world. And by the way, by far the most. 45 million. Find out which country tested 45 million people. If China, if...
We're 23rd in testing per capita, just a reminder, fact check.
5 million people, or if they did tests like we did, check out how many cases they'd have. But it's still, we've done a great job, get no credit for it, and I don't want the credit. I want the people that have done this great job, the people that have done such an incredible job on building the ventilators and doing the testing and building a testing platform that's been amazing. We have many platforms. Many companies have come up with different forms of tests. When we started, there was no such thing. Sign new immigrants up for welfare immediately. This is Joe Biden. So they walk off and they come in and they put a foot into our land and we sign up new immigrants.
Now, I've not reviewed. I would not even assume that Trump is telling the truth. The first thing before I do anything would be I would want to see the plan for myself.
Think of that. Sign up. It's hard to believe I'm even reading that. New immigrants for welfare immediately. Not to mention the cost of this, which is incalculable. The cost of this is so crazy. End requirement for immigrant self-sufficiency and maximize their welfare. Now, this is us writing this. Who's not coming to the United States? Every person from South America is going to pour in. Every person from...
This is a common thing. Republicans think everybody's desperate to live in the United States. And of course, that's really not the truth.
Immigrant self-sufficiency. And remember to maximize welfare. So we give it a maximum. Then we have massively expand immigration during a global pandemic, taking jobs from unemployed Americans. End all travel bans, including from jihadist regions. So now we have travel bans. A lot of you said I didn't get the travel ban, and you were wrong. We got the travel ban. We lost in the Ninth Circuit. We lost again in the Ninth Circuit, and then we won in the Supreme Court. We have a very strong travel ban. And we don't want people that are going to come in and blow up our cities, do things. And frankly, with the liberal Democrats running the cities that...
Yeah, when's the announcement happening here? Like, what was the point of this press conference?
Mind, but I would mind, and the people of this country mind. So listen to this. End all travel bans. He's talking about the ban that I won, that everybody said I didn't win. They said I didn't win because in the lower court we lost, that we lost in the appellate division, and then we won in the Supreme Court.
Crystal
So
clear.
Said, he lost.
Got it.
And they're right at the lower level. But in the meantime, we won in the Supreme Court. So it's in effect, but they didn't say that. They said he lost, which again is fake news. But that's the way they do it. So end all travel bans, including from jihadist regions. They specified that. Grant mass amnesty. Everybody gets amnesty, mass amnesty. Think of that. And this is create a roadmap to citizenship.
The way this is going, we should be lucky if he doesn't start throwing feces around before the end.
Care of DACA, much better than the Democrats did. The Democrats had their chance, and they blew it. But we're going to take care of DACA because I'm going to be doing, in the not too distant future, pretty soon, I'm going to be signing a new immigration action. Very, very big merit-based immigration action that, based on the DACA decision, I'll be able to do. Vastly expand low-skilled immigration to the United States. So they want a lot of people come in with low skills. I like merit. Think of that. Vastly expand low-skilled immigration to the United States. These are the things that are in the plan. This is Biden. Biden's gone radical left. Increase refugee admissions by 700%. Huh. That's a lot. By 700%. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. Increase refugee admissions by 700%. Abolish law enforcement as we know it. I think the police do an incredible job in this country.
Police aren't going anywhere.
And you're going to have a rogue, terrible cop on occasion, like you do in any industry, in any business.
This might help Biden. A lot of people aren't thrilled with Biden because they think he's too centrist. Trump's making him out to be some radical leftist.
End cash bail. No bail. Just, we let you right out. Look at what's happened to New York. Crime is up, shootings are up at numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Look at Chicago. What a disaster.
Understand that the police haven't been abolished yet, so obviously crime is not up for that reason. The reason crime is up is people are desperate economically because of what's going on. I'm sure most of you all know that.
We have everybody ready to go. We have the National Guard. They're all ready to go.
Right. Cash bail hasn't been ended. You can't blame that for what's going on now.
It's onto our streets. Cash bail. New York just did that. Other places have done it. They haven't turned out too good. Abolish completely the death penalty.
Great idea.
And I know there's a lot of debate on the death penalty, and there has been for a long time, but sometimes you use the death penalty.
Oh.
Depending on the crime.
Guess I didn't think about it that way.
What happened today with regard to the death penalty. Appoint social justice prosecutors in order to free violent criminals. So they want to appoint social justice prosecutors to free violent criminals. End mandatory minimums. And that's by empowering judges to determine appropriate sentences, by fighting to repeal mandatory minimums at the federal level and give states incentives to repeal their mandatory minimums. We could go on for days.
Please don't.
Incentivize prison closure. So they want to close our prisons. They now want to abolish. They want to abolish our.
Well, part of the
police.
reason we have so many people in prison is we have so many prisons to fill, which maintains jobs, et cetera. So yes, if you restructure the war on drugs, you actually would reduce the need for prisons. And yeah, some correctional officers wouldn't be needed.
Those communities. So they want to close them rather than have them for some very bad people, people that are not going to behave when they get out. You see that in New York. They allowed a lot of criminals out, and those criminals are causing havoc. And then they got rid of their incredible and legendary crime squad. And bad things are happening in New York. Bad things are happening. I love New York. I hate to see what's going on.
All right, we'll get to the
End
big,
solitary confinement.
Sounds good.
Free federal housing for former inmates. So federal housing now can go to.
You know, what's crazy about this is, like, I don't know how much of this stuff is really in Biden's thing. I'm going to look at it. I assume it's not worded this way. But this is like, if you look at a Trump White House budget, it's just a political document. None of the stuff is even actually going to be run through legislation. If you were to go by that, then, you know, the White House budget would be a ludicrous document. This is not very useful to figure out who you should vote for.
Homes, offices, and all new buildings by 2030. That basically means no windows, no nothing.
What?
It's very hard to do. I tell people when they want to go into some of these buildings, how are your eyes? Because they won't be good in 5 years. And I hope you don't mind cold office space in the winter and warm office space in the summer.
No AC, no heat, no windows, no lighting, no water. It's an empty space.
From power plants by 2035. Zero. We're talking about zero. Nothing can go in the air. Mandate net zero carbon emissions by 2050.
That's a great goal.
And I believe he's changing that. He's bringing it down. He wants no petroleum product. He wants no oil or gas. I don't think Texas is going to do too well. They're going to get rid of about 7 million jobs.
Guys, if half of this stuff is true, I'm much more excited to vote for Biden.
Oklahoma, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, you're going to be too happy with that. And many other states, Ohio. Mandate all 500,000 school buses and all 3 million government vehicles be changed to zero-emission vehicles within 5 years.
We should
We
should set the example.
Install 500,000 taxpayer-funded charging stations nationwide.
Love it.
Here's a bad one, really bad one. End school choice. There is
School choice is code for take money from public schools to give to charter schools, to make public schools even worse, to say, see, we were right, they're terrible, to take more money from them, rinse, repeat, repeat, repeat.
Happy to see him be defeated just on that alone. End school choice. So Joe Biden wants to end school choice. End tax credit scholarships serving disadvantaged students in 26 states. Oppose 14 million Americans with education savings accounts. And get rid of school choice, having to do with school choice. Eliminate school choice in Washington, D.C. You know what they've done in Washington. They have some incredible example right here. Example. I know of one example. I think they have a number of them, but one is incredible. Abolish all charter schools. Charter schools are doing great. Ban funding for charter schools in poor neighborhoods. We don't want charter schools in poor neighborhoods. Well, that's not fair. Abolish educational standards. Abolish in the suburbs. You're going to abolish the suburbs with this. Enforce Obama-Biden's radical AFFH. That's the AFFH regulation.
He has no clue what he's reading.
That threatens to strip localities
he has no idea what he's doing.
Of federal affordable housing funds unless they change their zoning laws.
He seems to be sundowning. I think they've got to pull him off the stage.
I mean, I've been watching this for years in Westchester, coming from New York. They want low-income housing built in a neighborhood. Well, I'm ending that rule. I'm taking it out. So
no neighborhood.
I spoke with Ben Carson the other day. We're going to be taking it out. I've
Brain surgeons in charge of housing. Smart.
The whole thing go, and now they want to make it twice as bad in the suburbs. In the suburbs. Mothers aren't happy about that. Fathers aren't happy about that. They worked hard to buy a house, and now they're going to watch the housing values drop like a rock, and that has happened. Drop like a rock. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do the exact opposite. Probably there has never been a time, and this is just a few, it's much worse than that. We did this very quickly. It's probably never been a time when candidates are so different.
Who do you think proposed this? Did Trump come up with the idea of doing this for an hour himself, or did someone propose it?
To come in through merit, through a legal process. They don't want to have any borders at all. They're going to rip down the wall. It was hard to get that built, and now it's almost completed. It'll be completed by a little after the end of the year. They want to rip it down, and it's had such an impact. It's incredible. It stops trafficking, human trafficking of women and children, but women mostly. Human trafficking, one of the worst things ever, all at a level that it's never been at because of the internet. You think of it as an ancient statement. You wouldn't think that's possible.
Trump's barely treading water right now, and nobody's throwing him a life raft.
And they want to let that continue. The wall has stopped it so much because they will go over to a section where there aren't people, not an entry point.
Right.
And they'll make a left into the United States. They're on their way. They can't do that anymore. We have a 30-foot.
This is a great opportunity to let you know you should really read the book Coyotes by Ted Conover, who I recently interviewed. He's an American white guy, but he spent time crossing the border with coyotes, working at citrus farms, potato farms, etc., with undocumented workers. It's a fantastic book. Could not recommend it more highly.
Think of open borders today, though, with the pandemic. I mean, the timing is sort of interesting, but with the pandemic. So there's never been a time when two candidates were so different. I mean, I've seen races where it's like
Ted
same
Conover.
exact platforms. I'm even talking about essentially Democrat, Republican. There's not that much difference. There's a little difference, but there's not much. You choose one because you like the way they look, you like the way they sound, you like the way they talk. You like something about one and you don't like the other, but there's never been a difference. Here's one of the greatest differences. This is without question the single biggest difference if you want law and order. For instance, I enacted recently when I saw all that was going on with federal monuments. We don't have the right to do states, although we're trying to find it. But
check out my clip from today. Today, about we can't allow them to turn this into a culture war because they've lost on policy. So talking about statues and flags and monuments is all he has.
An act that we've used, and we have many, many people in jail right now. Many, many people in jail all over the country because they tried to destroy, or in some cases got it down, a federal statue or monument. We haven't had anybody making a move since I enacted this. I signed an executive order a couple of weeks ago, and it says very simply, 10 years in jail. You do it, 10 years in jail. The amazing part is we were able to catch everybody because thanks to all of you on television, we appreciate it. But we have their pictures. We have the man standing on Andrew Jackson's horse.
Is this a medical event that's happening right now?
General George Washington. We have everybody standing. They were going to go for the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln, standing with a young man who was being freed. And we said, we're going to do something. We can't let this happen. Now, it could be removed at some point.
Just to catch you up, don't worry, you're not missing anything. Trust me. The White House abruptly scheduled a press conference, which presumably was to announce something important. And Trump has been rambling for close to an hour right now, including just reading negative things about Joe Biden, many of which are untrue. Although the ones that are true are actually encouraging me more to vote for Joe Biden.
To see that. The next night, I believe 22 people showed up. They said, we're going to make it Friday night instead. And 22 people showed up. 4 were actually arrested because we have pictures of them knocking down other statues. So they're in jail now. So there has never been an election where we've had this kind of difference. We want strong borders. Without borders, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Without borders, you don't have a country.
Right.
They don't want to have borders. They want to have open borders.
That's a lie.
It's radical left.
Nobody wants that.
And it'll destroy our
Nobody in
country.
power wants that.
20 years ago, Venezuela was a very rich country.
Has nothing to do with
Biden. One of the richest. Anyway,
Venezuela's a disaster.
Per capita,
Has
one
nothing
of the
to do
richest.
with Biden.
Tremendous oil reserves. Now they don't have water. They don't have food. They don't have medicine. We do everything we can to take care of the people.
Biden versus Trump has nothing to do with Venezuela.
Exactly the ideology that you have going over here.
No.
If I wasn't there to stop it,
Maduro, Biden, I don't know that there's anything in common.
it's not going to happen. We'd be in some mess. We'd be in some mess. And Pelosi and Schumer and Bernie and Joe, they'll never stop it. They don't have the power, the strength to stop it. It's beyond them. But we do. So there's never been a time like this.
You keep saying that.
Where you've had an election of people so different. Okay, a couple of questions. Yeah, please, go ahead.
My God.
Sir, you just spent the better part of an hour explaining why Americans should choose you and not your opponent. Yesterday you said on Twitter, be careful what you wish for. I guess the question is, do you see yourself as the underdog in this race? Do you see yourself losing in the fall?
No, I don't. I think we have really good poll numbers.
Wrong.
They're not suppression polls, they're real polls.
Lie.
You look at the intercoastal in Florida. You look at the lakes, you see thousands of boats.
There's a particular lake in Central Florida where all the boat owners love Trump.
And all over. You look at what's going on. You look at bikers for miles and miles riding up highways proudly with their signs.
Right.
Look, we won a race where it was the same thing, 2016.
In Martha's Vineyard, I did see one boat with a Trump flag, so it's true. He might be right.
To be fake. Not all. A couple of them got it right. 3 of them, to be exact. 3 of them. One of them was unsuspecting, but they got it right. They were very proud of it. But we had in 2016 something even more so, but we got in, and we had 306 to, I guess, 223, which was a tremendous margin of difference. You remember they all said he cannot get to 270. I went to Maine a number of times where we just freed up lobster fishing and fishing.
Yeah. The lobster thing is hilarious. The idea that Trump rescued lobster fishing from Obama, it's crazy.
On European Union, which charge our fishermen tariffs.
Yeah, lobster.
And I said, you're not going to do that. So we freed it up for Maine.
Question was, are you an underdog?
If you take a look, we went up there recently. There were crowds, thousands of people lined up going over to a factory where we were opening up we're making swabs, a beautiful big new factory making swabs. I think that the enthusiasm now is greater and maybe far greater than it was in 2016.
Go on.
I think a lot of people don't want to talk about it. I think they're not going to say, hey, I'm for Trump, I'm for Trump. They don't want to go through the process. And I fully understand that because the process is not fair. The media doesn't treat us fairly. They never have, and perhaps they never will.
Yep.
But maybe they will when we turn this around for a second time.
I feel bad for Trump. He's such a victim.
When we turn it around for a second time, maybe
everybody
they
hates
will.
him.
I think we're doing very well in the polls, and I think you have a silent majority, the likes of which this country has never seen before.
Never.
This is a very important election. We've done a great job. We had to turn it off, as I said, turn it off, and now we've started it again.
Remember, Trump never turned anything off. It was governors who said, hey, we've got to do something here.
People. And that beat the last month, which was also a record, 2.8 million people. Nobody's ever done what we've done, and now we're doing it twice. And I think by Election Day, you're going to see some incredible numbers. The third quarter is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter is going to be great, but next year is going to be one of the best economic years. So hopefully I'll be able to be the president where we say, look at the great job I did.
My God.
At this point.
I think great. I think we have a great chance. I think we're going to have a lot of people show up. I'm very worried about mail-in voting because I think it's...
Trump thinks absentee voting and mail-in voting are two different things. I've got a story about it tomorrow. It's so funny.
I believe it was 20% of the vote was fraudulent. It was...
Fraudulent.
All sorts of things happened. I understand a mailman was recently indicted someplace for playing games with the mail-in ballots.
Remember, if he got indicted, the system worked. It's like saying we shouldn't build houses because sometimes smoke detectors detect fire. No. You have the smoke detector so that you can safely build a house.
You have to go through a process. If I'm here and I vote in Florida, you get an absentee ballot, but you have to go through a process. Absentee ballots are great.
It's the same thing, yeah. See, but he doesn't realize we're talking about the same thing.
Millions of ballots to people all over the state. California, millions and millions of ballots as an example. And then they come back, they don't come back. Who got them? Did you forget to send them to a Republican area or a Democrat area, I guess you could say? But if you take a look at all of the unbelievable fraud that's been involved with mail-in voting over the last even short period of while, but look at Paterson, New Jersey. It was a massive error and a massive miscalculation, and there was incredible fraud. Look at the city council, what's happened to it. This is one place, but you have many places, and they're all over. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. I want to know, when's the last time you spoke with President Xi of China, and do you plan to speak with him in the near future?
No, I haven't spoken to him. Well, no, I don't. I have no plan to speak to him. Yeah, please go.
Sir, follow-up.
Thank you. So, do you want to do a follow-up?
Yeah,
okay, yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was hospitalized today with an infection. Wanted to know if you had any reaction to that news.
No, I wish her the best. I hope she's better. I didn't hear that, actually. She was just hospitalized? No, that's too bad. No, I wish her the best.
Okay.
She's actually giving me some good rulings. Okay. okay?
Oh, so,
you know that,
so then
right?
she's okay. I got it.
People were surprised. No, I wish her the absolute best. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So you were mentioning the travel bans, and I wonder when do you plan to reveal that, because the European countries are in the situation is under control, much a better place than the U.S.
Yes.
And there is no ban for other hotspots like Russia and India. So what will be the criteria to change that? And another question.
Well, you know, we've banned for Europe, and at some point that'll come off, and we're dealing with them all the time. The relationship's very good. They just don't treat us very well.
We're going to
on
be banned from everywhere.
trade. They have been very unfair to us over many, many decades. And we're doing that. It's very easy to solve. I was all set to solve it, actually, and then we got hit with the plague. But we have a travel ban on various countries, and that travel ban remains until such time as we say it doesn't remain.
And
we want our country safe.
Right.
We don't, unlike Biden, we don't want to have criminals pouring into our country.
Right. Biden
we don't want
wants
to have
criminals,
open
yeah.
borders. We're not going to have that. And we want to take care of our police. We want to actually fund our police, not defund them.
Question
and
was about a
We're not
travel
going to abolish our police, and we're not going to make our military small and weak, because probably, or at least at top of the level, we need our military right now. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So how do you think that the America First policy can work during a pandemic? Aren't you concerned that this could actually damage the U.S. and make China more influence around the world?
Okay, look, my policy is America First. We've lost hundreds of billions of dollars a year with China and many other countries. And what we're doing is just handing everybody everything. It's just sad. I've watched it. I've looked at it. We did the U.S.-Mexico. You saw that, USMCA. We made a very fair deal on trade. We had the worst deal ever, right? You know that. We had the worst deal ever, and it replaced that. It replaced that horrible NAFTA deal that was one of the worst trade deals ever made. I'll tell you, the only deal that might be worse is the WTO.
Wasn't the
World
question.
Trade Organization. Maybe worse. OAN, please.
OAN,
Thank you,
here
Mr.
we go.
President. Your administration has taken tangible steps to ensure that Chinese companies are not taking advantage of our U.S. stock markets, our trade. Last week, your administration sent a letter to the Railroad Retirement Board asking them to reconsider
She doesn't even understand her own questions. It's crazy.
Meaning not to invest.
Correct.
That's cool.
So where is that request now, and are you taking tangible actions to ensure that U.S. investments don't continue to fund defense firms in China?
And you'll see more coming. This was a very important bill that we signed, but you're going to see more coming over the next short period of time. But yes, we don't want them investing in Chinese military companies, okay?
Letters, I mean, what actions can be taken to ensure that does not happen?
Well, you have a lot of actions we can take, including the increase. You know, right now people don't know China's paying a lot of tariffs. We made a China deal.
Yeah.
And they bought just, I think...
American companies pay the tariffs when they import the Chinese stuff. It's, I mean, can somebody just explain how tariffs work to Trump? Can anybody do it?
It's great for our farmers, but I view it differently than I did before I made the deal. When I made the deal, I thought this was a great deal. After what happened to us, what happened to the world coming from China, I view it much differently. But we can impose massive tariffs on China if we want, and other countries if we want. And we'll see. We just want to be treated fairly. We want a level playing field. Our farmers were never treated properly by anybody, and they were targeted by China. You know, I paid our farmers $28 billion over a 2-year period.
Sure.
Because they were targeted to that amount of money, to that exact amount of money, 28. It was 16 billion, and it was 12 billion, 28 over a 2-year period. And we gave $28 billion to our farmers. That's why they're all here. And now they're doing very well. Our farmers are doing very well because we made really great trade deals. USMCA just kicked in. The China deal, they're buying a lot. They are buying a lot. We'll say that. They're buying a lot. A lot of people ask, how are they doing on the trade deal? They're buying a lot. So I want to thank everybody, and we'll be having these conferences. Again, we're going to be signing an immigration act very soon. It's going to be based on merit. It's going to be very strong.
Truly unbelievable.
We're going to work on DACA because we want to make people happy. And I'll tell you, even conservative Republicans want to see something happen with DACA. The Democrats had their chance for 3 years to do something with DACA, and they always turned it down. They always turned it down. They used it as...
He deserves to be voted out merely for abruptly and urgently scheduling this and then ranting for over an hour and then taking 3 questions.
It'll be great. It'll be merit-based. The country's tried to get it for 25 or 30 years. It'll be strong on the border, but you'll come in legally, and you'll be able to come in legally. And very importantly, we'll be taking care of people from DACA in a very Republican way. Republicans, I've spoken to many Republicans, and some would like to leave it out, but really they understand that it's the right thing to do. So we're going to be taking care of DACA. We will be doing for DACA what the Democrats had a chance to do, and they never did it, okay? Thank you all very much.
This has to be the beginning of a... Whoa, Fauci out of nowhere. This has to be the beginning of a complete and total unraveling. That is time none of us will ever get back. We did at one point during that have more than 40,000 different people watching the stream across all of our different platforms. And I'm glad and feel flattered that you chose to spend the last hour and a half with me. But that was absolutely insane from the standpoint of being informative, nothing of substance informed. So listen, here's what we're going to do. If you're watching on Twitch, remember to hit that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to hit that subscribe button. It's completely and totally free. I mean, it costs you nothing. I'm going to be back in about an hour because we do have a chess tournament tonight. You can register for free at davidpakman.com/chess. I'll be coming back in about an hour, going to make some tacos, get that all going. And then we're going to have that tournament happening tonight, and I invite you to join me. But at minimum, please hit that subscribe and follow button. It is much appreciated. And if nothing else, in about an hour, you can watch me fail miserably in my own chess tournament. Thanks for joining me, guys. I do appreciate it.